So, 3 things to start us off. I know Christy's here. Are there anybody else that teaches classes with us too? And if you're a teacher, Kyle, you read the paper and the student jumps right in and starts talking about something you have no idea where they're going, right? I don't want to do that to you. Here's where we're going today, okay? We're going to spend a little time just talking about this program that we have here, because as I was talking to people, I realized that at least half of you have never heard the original just kind of layout of the program from one of us. So we want to do that. We're going to do breakout sessions led by our staff, led by coordinators on topics, and you've seen the advertising, just that hopefully will be helpful for you, but they're not going to be lectures. There's going to be a little time of here's what we do, and then a lot of interaction on internship, promotion, whatever it might be. We will eat later, and then we're going to end up this afternoon doing more of a round table type of thing. I was just talking with at least 3 of you, saying, one of them was Lieutenant, we aren't doing an internship at Northwest. We aren't doing a CPP partner at Northwest, so we don't know what's working for you. We know the academic parts, but it's so important to us to hear you guys say, that was a dumb idea, we're not going to do that. Or, this is really working for us. It really is a partnership. So that's kind of where we're going today. 3 things I want to say about today. It's a big day. It could be a good day, but it's definitely going to be a bad day. It's a big day because we're all here and we've got a lot to do. It could be a good day because last year at the CPP annual conference, does anybody, Jared's not here, Jared will remember this, something extremely significant happened at this conference last year. Anybody remember? The Seahawks signed Jimmy Graham. Right? Yeah, how many was here? You remember that? Maybe, yeah, okay. Now, why is it going to be a bad day? Because my 16-year-old daughter has a boyfriend. And in the state of Washington, you have to wait 6 months until you can drive non-family members in your car. Guess what today is?
Bless the Lord.
So I have this image. You know, you put everything into your daughter, but at some point I'm going to watch the back of her head drive away in a car with a boy. And I'm not going to be there. And I'm not going to be able to say, you know, this is a bad idea. In some ways, it makes me feel like all of you guys. Because we're trying to give you as much information as we can. And it's a complicated program that you have to run. And we want to send you off and say, here's what you need to do it, but we know we can't give you everything. But at the same time, just having dinner with everybody that I did last night and meeting people, I was overwhelmed again by the quality of people in this room. So we're going to do what we can, but we can't cover everything. None of us could keep everything in our head in one day, right? Feel free to interrupt, feel free to ask questions, especially in the breakout sessions with others, and we'll see where we get to, okay? So, and you can pray for me that I don't stalk my daughter's boyfriend. So apparently that's illegal, I don't know. So, okay. Thank you for your interest in the CPP program. I know you know nothing about it, so I'd like to explain to you what this program is that you've heard about, okay? The Northwest University Church Partnership Program provides local churches and ministries the ability to offer accredited Northwest University associate and bachelor's degree, no apostrophe in that, sorry, as part of their internship or staff development programs. Next slide. We believe, and our provost has said to us, this may be the best learning environment that Northwest offers, because it offers the practical training of a local church internship or ministry. It offers the academics that Northwest can do, but most importantly, it offers all you guys the highly relational environment. The coordinator who knows these students, who's checking their grades, who's saying, I thought you turned in that assignment. Or, you know what, we need to visit the writing center. Or, and then the other relationships that build as they're serving together, they're studying together, and they're doing life together. We really think it's the best environment for learning that we could put together. We offer, this is going to be news for some of you, associates and no apostrophe bachelor's degrees. I did this, but anyhow. Ministry leadership, psychology, organizational management, and business management. Other degrees are offered through Northwest Online. If you want to offer some of those ministry, non-ministry degrees, you're able to do that. We're going to start talking about if your partnership site has been underperforming GPA-wise, we might say, hey, we've got to shore this thing up before we start offering other degrees, okay? But we want you to be able to offer those things if we're sure you can support it. Because of this, we're offering academically accredited classes, which means in our area you can get an AA through your CPP and transfer over to UW. Washington State private schools is the highest level of accreditation you can get. And they're eligible for financial aid through the federal government, loans and grants. Next slide. Our academics, and I know some of you are going, I know this, but most of you have not heard this from us before. We have a 15-week semester, and it's divided into 2 7-week sessions with 1 week in between. So a full load is 2 classes, session 1, 2 classes, session 2. But we also offer 3 free credits for their internships. And the way we do that is that we cannot give them credit for experience. Hey, they served in the internship. We give them credit for learning. Would you say they're probably doing some learning in their internship? So we just put your internship into a class syllabus and identify the type of learning they're going to do when we measure it, so that the accreditors come back and say, why are you giving credit? Because they did this, 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 and this, and here's how they measured the learning, and here's what, oh, okay. So you're ultimately getting 15 credits per semester for a full load at the price of 12. The reason we do it this way, number one, learning theory suggests, and our experience backs this up, if you can focus on just a couple of things for a shorter period of time, you're going to do better, right? Number two, if you've ever taught, have you ever tried to keep momentum and interest for 15 weeks? Have you ever tried to recruit an adjunct professor to teach a 15-week class? There's a lot of reasons that it works well. And we're going to talk about the live instructors in a little bit. But the one thing I do need to make clear is financially, we've had to move the number from 7 students in a class to 10 students in a class in order to get a live instructor. But what we're adding this year, one of our initiatives, is the ability to do webinars where one place can broadcast and have other people come in. We've been doing it all across Idaho. We have, where are your students from? Kyle's from Modesto. He's teaching in Modesto.
They're from Washington.
And they have a couple students from Washington. Yeah. So it gives you the ability to get 10 people there, even though you don't have 10 people taking the same class. Next slide. Oh, this is Jim's part. You guys know Jim? My boss, the Dean of CAPS, who developed this whole program. This is how we do it when we come visit you, so we're coming tanking a little bit.
Here, I've raised 3 boys, so I can't empathize with you. But I think it really sounds scary. So thank you so much. You honor us. You truly honor us for being here. Thank you so much. The whole idea of the church partnership program is something that a lot of us in Northwest have had for years in our heart. How can we work more closely with the local church? For so many years, there was really an antagonism between the university and the local church. Because I know what your pastors have thought for years. If I send my best and brightest to Northwest, I'm never going to see them again. They're going to see the lights of the big city of Kirkland and be mesmerized. And, well, actually, they may be able to find higher salaries in ministry out away from town. And of course, the university is saying, they're trying to offer classes at the church? I mean, come on! There's not a classroom, and they don't have projector, you know, all of these things. There was an antagonism so much. You know what I'm talking about. There was this real separation. And yet a few years ago, we sat down and said, hold it. For thousands of years, people have been training for ministry within the local church, the synagogue, or whatever it might be. Maybe there's a model that we can get to. So that's where we put our heads together, came up with a church partnership program. There are particular aspects that we're very responsible for, and we take that very seriously. Because we know, friends, if we jeopardize our accreditation, you're going to go somewhere else. Because in today's society, our students, our young people need credit learning that is accredited, that they can take somewhere else. And not all accreditations are equal. Accredited by our regionally accrediting associations, the same level that the UW and the other universities, even Oregon and universities, sorry, not that far, the same level of accreditation. So we put this together, and we're really proud, really happy of, and thankful how this is doing. However, there's some reality that I know you guys need to be thinking about. So Jeff Oxford, you know, you may be a redneck if you've ever heard that phrase coming from Texas. He's essentially the president of Texas, I think. So let's play with this a bit. If you want for your students to have an easy pathway towards a degree, then friends, you may be in the wrong place. If you want a lot of easy income for your church, friends, you may be in the wrong place. If you want perfect students who will never cause problems, you may be in the wrong place. If you want to grow a program to 50 students your first semester, you may be in the wrong place. If you want to accept every student who wants to enter your program, you may be in the wrong place. If you want to admit only students who will complete their FAFSAs 2 weeks early, you may be in the wrong place. If you want cheap slave labor for your church, you may be in the wrong place. If you want only students who will earn an A on every assignment, friends, you're in the wrong place. If you want to enroll students who will not wait until the last minute, the last second to click submit on their assignment, friends, you may be in the wrong place. If you want live faculty who will always be willing to teach whenever you want them to teach, at the time of the day you want them to teach, that works well, and never complain about the facilities, you may be in the wrong place. If you want only interns that are going to show up on time for everything that's required, you may be in the wrong place. And if you never want to have to call your lead pastor and tell him, I need to update you on something that happened yesterday, you may be in the wrong place. However, as the president said, if you want to change lives in a way that is flexible, in a way that is cost effective, that is academic rigorous, that is cutting edge, then you just might be in the right place. We at Northwest have worked really hard to try to have some features that will work well with you. We work with, right now, $289 a credit. Over the last 3 years, we have only had to increase tuition by 5% over a span of 3 years. We fight hard, very hard, to make this program sustainable, but also to be very cost conscious, because our mission is the same as yours. We do not want young people who have gone through this program to have such a debt load upon them that they can't go into ministry, that they can't go to get a job somewhere because they have such a debt from their education. We have the internship fee. Let me ask, how many of our affiliates, of our partners, are utilizing the site fee, the internship fee? Okay? If you don't know about that, it's money that we collect from the students and then give back to you. Now, there's a particular graduation schedule that we give it to you because it's, well, actually, we give you half of it whether or not we've collected it yet. And then for the rest of the semester, you get the 25% and then the 25%. So the site fee is yours. We give it to you as soon as we receive it, except for that 50% we give to you at the end of the first full month of courses. You see the costs up there based upon the 289. Friends, there are no extra technology fee. There's no general fee. There's no, all of these fees that most of the time universities charge students that are sort of hidden, that students don't find out about until you actually register and say, what is that? We have tried to make it really, really simple and cost effective. So $289 is what it is. If you choose to collect or to have us collect the site fee that goes back to you to help support your program, that's up to you, and we're glad to do it. But we have tried to work very carefully and hard to ensure that the cost is low. Next slide. Master's Program Scholarship. How many of our affiliates here, you have been able to utilize the Master's Program Scholarship? Would mean somebody at your site is earning a master's degree through us, and they have a tuition discount. So ICLB, some other places. Okay, why? Okay, if you're a veteran site, which means that this is not your first year, then you need to be using this. It starts at how many students? 3? If you have 3 or more students, then that triggers you to automatically at 3 to get a 25% discount, somebody from your ministry on the master's program here, on any of our master's programs that are available for online or like the mammal and the program. So I encourage you, now there's a process you have to go through to be sure to notify us so that we don't forget about it. So, but the Master's Program Scholarships is working very well.
We love reaching 21 threshold and getting it.
At 21, somebody's getting a free ride for that semester, and as long as you're 21 for that semester, getting a free ride at a master's program. Mark, don't you wish you had a free ride? Yeah. And some of the others in here. So, anyway, be sure to check into that. We're getting. We want to invest in your ministry. Next one. Northwest is doing this not for the glory and not certainly for the money we're making, because we're breaking in. This is sustainable, but it's not like we're supporting any other programs here. This is a mission, this is a passion of Northwest University. And I know, speaking actually from the traditional enrollment and missions officers, there's a question, Northwest, why do you have the CPP? And the president from the very beginning said, it's optional. We want to provide options for students, for parents, whomever it might be. This is an option. We rejoice if a student comes from a CPP and becomes a full-time student here on campus. We rejoice if a campus student goes to a CPP. If one of our students goes to an online program CPP, it doesn't matter to us. We want to do what the student and the parents feel is best, so we work hard with that. So, what's next? We're working hard on developing a Spanish curriculum, because many of our affiliates are saying, we have a strong Spanish portion of our ministry, and we'd love to have the CPP with a Spanish curriculum. Our district schools of ministry is something that the Assemblies of God has had for quite a few years. We now have a partnership that we're forming that will allow someone who's gone through district schools and school of ministry to be able to bring credit into a CPP, to have sort of a cooperation with a CPP. So that's something we're working hard on, and have actually our first partner in Alaska that's going to be signing on the line and working with us for next fall. International partners. There's some international sites that we're working with, so there's a lot of expansion with the CPP program. Okay, quick question from you. What is something that is working really well? What is something that whenever you talk about it to your pastor or someone, or with the young people or the parents, what's something that's working really well in your program that we can take credit for? Well, I mean that you can take credit for, and we'll rejoice with you. What's something that's working? Oh, I hope there's more than that. Yes, yeah, Pat.
Our internship program.
Internship program. Is there a particular part of it that's working really well?
Just getting our young people into all the ministries. We're in our second year, so now they're in specific ministries, and I'm seeing such.
Not enough time of the day and all of this. The second year, you've got some young people that sort of know what's going on, so it makes it a lot better. Okay, great, Pat. Go in Burley, Idaho. Yes, ma'am.
The live instruction. I think that the kids love that we have small class sizes. You can't get that small class size even at a private university for so much significance. And it's actually turned into them wanting to go further. So I think every single one of our graduating students is going on past the 2 years to other universities. Some here.
Oh, great.
And we never would have thought some of them would have come to college in the first place.
And your site?
Canyon Creek.
Canyon Creek, or being in Michigan, Canyon Creek. Okay. Something else. What's working? What's really working?
Just the potential for hiring within some of these students in the future. Our pastor says, hey, we've got a job opportunity here at the church, and we're able to say we've got a few students that are going to be graduating here, just because of the schooling and the working closely with other pastors and other leaders.
Great. BCA, right?
Evergreen.
Evergreen, I'm sorry, Evergreen. Other direction, sorry. Okay, yeah.
It's worked really well for us and been a surprising benefit to have them rotate every 7 weeks into different ministries.
Okay.
And they've been able to hear from a lot of different voices than what they normally would in just the youth ministry internship. So that's been a huge one.
And I'm sure every one of them really were looking forward to spending a time in children's work or something, huh? But by forcing them, it really gives them a much broader experience. Great. Thanks for saying that. I didn't even plant that for him to say that. What else is working at your site? What else sort of exciting thing?
I think in addition to those things that we've seen, given the life instruction being great, we've seen being able to hire from within, those things have been really great as well. But we have such a vision of leadership and then impacting the different areas of our culture, and that's something our pastors breathe, and to provide a vehicle where we know we're releasing qualified people into ministries and fields, and we're going to go in there with that assignment of bringing the kingdom of God and making a difference, a positive change. That's working really well. We're excited to see graduates and all of that. We're just at the point of having 4-year students. It's remarkable.
Because I've been able to work with your site for quite a few years. Actually, from a different university, and actually back when I was at Bethany working with Las Vegas. So it's a way to go. So ICLV, International Church of Las Vegas, and your name of your site is Kairos. Kairos. I love it. Anyone else before Carrie jumps up here and pushes me on? Anything else? Really working well. It's your site. Yeah.
I think it's just cool to see young adults just stay around the church and be plugged in. Young adult is one of the most unchurched, demographics in the church, right? And so they tend to take off and go other places. And now to see them get involved, then they bring their friends more, and they're talking about the program and how much it's changed their life. And so you can definitely see the impact that they have on the church as a whole, instead of having that big gap from youth ministry. We have a big youth ministry and then nothing, and then, hey, get them back on their 30s.
Oh, so the
right?
churches really work, most churches have all really going and a great youth program, but then it's
Yeah,
like,
and they just.
it's
gap
truly
year.
the gap
So,
years, yeah.
And so it's just cool to see them stick around and be a part of the church and getting acclimated that way instead of, just, oh, it's all about youth ministry and then, nothing. Now it's like, hey, we have a place, and they see the mission of the church more.
Good.
In that side of us.
And your site,
Can't use it.
the title of the program?
Oh, the School of Ministry and Leadership.
Okay, School of Ministry and Leadership. Okay, cool. Here.
All right, so you're ready to get philosophical? Voyage of the Dawn Trader. Eustace meets a star that looks like a person. I don't know if you remember this or not. And the quote is, Eustace says, in our world, a star is a huge ball of flaming gas. Even in your world, my son, that is not what a star is, but only what it's made of. I've been describing to you what a CPP site is made of, but I haven't been describing to you what it actually is. This video, I didn't warn you, talks about what a CPP site really is and what's happening in next year 45 different places. Go ahead.
Well, San Francisco is the innovation capital of the world. But there is one thing that has never happened in our city's history, which is a spiritual awakening. You know, in 1919, a Christian university was founded in the inner city of San Francisco with the premise of it being a hands-on training center for urban missions. They moved out of the city, and in 2011, they shut down. There was an immediate thought that popped into my mind, and it was, hey, did God change his mind, or did men divert from the original plan? And we just believe that it's time to bring Christian higher education back into the inner city of San Francisco. And that's exactly what the School of Ministry is. It's Christian higher education with immediate practical application through the 14 ministries that we have going on here at City Impact.
At the foundation of our School of Ministry is the belief that Christian training really has three important elements. One, growing in knowledge of the Word and growing in understanding of theology and different topics that pertain to Christian leadership. But it doesn't stop there, because Christian training can't just be centered around the intellect, it also has to affect the heart. And so, at the same time, students every week are going out and engaged in evangelism, knocking on doors and getting into conversations with people in this community. And then number three, and maybe most important, is that students are engaged in tasks every day of service.
We will discuss something in the Bible class, and then the next day it happens.
The first time that I ever stepped foot in here, I realized that it was a place that God was just moving.
While I'm in the School of Ministry, I've been working at the school. The funny thing about that was I actually didn't want to be in the school, but God has really been transforming my heart through that.
I work in the kitchen. I've been here for 9 months, and I'm loving it.
We have classes in the mornings, and then in the afternoon you would be in a building delivering food to somebody and getting to see what you were learning in class actually displayed in that moment.
It kind of took away some of the romanticism of following Christ, and it showed me what it really meant to be a steady follower of Christ.
But City Impact is a great place where you can come and learn about the Word of God and at the same time do the Word of God.
If you really want to follow Christ, if you really are serious about your faith, I would say come to the school. The School of Ministry offers accredited classes through Northwest University so that you can be here serving and being trained in ministry, as well as taking classes to get college credit and be working towards a degree.
So I want to invite you, come to the city, join the School of Ministry, and be a part of what God's doing.
So my point is, your CPP site is the academics, is the internship program, but what you just saw there is what 45 of you have as a vision. And it looks different where you're at, it looks different in the state that you're at, it looks different in your community, but each one of you has a vision for how this thing can help people become leaders. And it's something we need to be reminded of, because we can get so into the nuts and bolts and the headaches and all that, but there are good things happening through this deal. I said 45. I want you to wave your hand. Thank you. I want you to wave your hand when we say, go ahead to the next one. Here we go. Here's who's here today. All right? Chino Victory Outreach. Right here. Okay. Lot Quinty, no clapping or anything like that, because then you'll get excited at the beginning and by the 20th you go. LABI is not here, Dream Center's not here, Modesto One Church. Yay. San Francisco City Impact. Santa Ana, Templo, Calvario, there you guys are. American Falls is not here, River City Church. Judy didn't come, she's a wise woman. Burley. Anybody not from Idaho know where Burley is? No, she just got lost when she ended up living there. Eagle's not here, Hagerman's not here, Nampa, both of them are not here, Idaho boycotted us. New Plymouth Assembly of God in Fayette. These are all hubs that have 2 or 3 students each that are banding together to offer these programs to the internships separately. Next slide. Oregon. I didn't see Clackamas here. Oh, you're from Clackamas?
Yeah.
Hi, well, to meet you. You don't look anything like your pastor, so you know. That's all I meant. Medford. Where's BJ? There you are. They brought 3. Their coordinators, the little one in the Snuggie, right?
Yeah.
Salem. I looked at you, I saw you walk in. Norman, Oklahoma. They couldn't come. We just visited them. They are our 2nd newest partner. Las Vegas International Church. Las Vegas Champion Center. Next slide. Auburn, Northwest Family Church. Marissa was one of those people I had only met a couple of times, and it was like a year and a half ago, and I was so proud of myself to remember the face and the name, and I think she was surprised. Cedar Park. I don't recognize you. You're a new person from Cedar Park. It's
Well,
okay.
I'm the volunteer, because everybody
Okay.
is either sick or on vacation.
Okay.
So Craig couldn't be here, Dave couldn't be here.
Emmanuel from Bremerton. There you are. Good to see you again. I'll say it wrong because they don't say it like they do in the Bible. Ephrata. There you are. Everett Bethany Christian Assembly, BCA. She just got the job. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just like, I don't know why I'm... Canyon Creek. Federal Way Christian Faith Center is not here. Keldon from East Ridge. There's Keldon. Lake Stevens, the Lake Church. Olympia, Evergreen. Paulsbo, the Gateway. There's another new face. Port Angeles, I don't think they have somebody here. Has Overlake got someone here from Redmond? Oh, hey, there you are. Good to see you. Next slide. Renton, New Life Church. Seattle, Calvary Christian Assembly. Steve. Steve and I have been in a small group together for like forever. I don't know how long, 10 years. Cedral Woolley. Pray for the guy from Cedral Woolley. You hear about the house in Centralia that burned and just died. The pastor's the owner of that house from Cedral Woolley, so he's got a lot going on. He had to back that yesterday. Did I miss Union Gospel? Senior Seattle Union Gospel? Hey, there. Good to see you. Our newest, just approved last Thursday partner, CCAC Open City Church. Krista Camps in Silverdale. I don't think Chad's here. New Life Kitsap. The real New Life, is that what I'm supposed to say? Is that right? Okay, done. Spokane Valley Assembly. I don't think they had somebody coming out. Good Hope, Church of God in Christ. Got a whole row. Life Center Tacoma. Yakima Stone Church. I'm coming out to you in a month. Awesome. For the district conference. Yeah. Next one. Oh, yep, that's fine. So I got one question for you. If somebody were to ask you, with your CPP site or partnership or program, whatever you want to call it, we just call it your CPP, what is the number one goal? What would you say?
Be like their reason for being.
What is the ultimate goal of your program? Why are you doing what you're doing? Pretty good question, right? Any takers? Now, I'm just saying you should know the answer to this if you're going to put all this energy into it. Let me give you my opinion. I think it's in this verse. Go ahead, next slide. Do you not know in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. We do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I don't run like someone running aimlessly. I don't fight like a boxer beating the air. I strike a blow to my body, I make it my slave, so after I preach to others, I will not be disqualified for the prize. Don't change slides. One of our best friends, their son ran in the district championships in the mile. I don't know that there's a worse race than a mile, because you have to run hard the whole way and it doesn't get over quick enough, you know? And if you've ever watched the races, you have a bunch of runners that when the starting gun hits, they're like bolting. And by the end of the first lap, you know, they can't move anymore. You also have runners that are just kind of holding back, and then with a half a lap to go, they've got like way too much gas left in the tank, and they've got to run harder for. Our friend's son won the race, and he had been running well, but his coach said, here's what I want you to do, because his coach thought he had more in the tank. He said, you run your pace, and he had a pace he was running, but at the 3/4 point of each lap, I want you to run as hard as you can for half a lap and then drop back into your pace. He won by over a minute. And he ran hard through the finish line, but he had nothing left. That's what we want to do with your students, right? We want to teach them how to run hard for their whole lifetime of ministry, not blow it up at the very beginning and burn out. Not to be holding back, and then at the end of the race go, man, I have a lot left in the tank. That's our goal, to help them finish well. And what you're providing, and it's not just the academics, it's not just the internship, it's not just the relationship. I got some ideas, next slide. What are you guys providing that can't be provided? You're providing intention. That's what you were describing. A bunch of gap students that don't have anything to do, you're giving them something to commit to. You're giving them a race to run, right? The ability. Academically, you're giving some ability, but skills-wise, you're giving them ability. You're giving them experience. They're learning how to serve in a church, good and bad. You're giving them training. You're giving them discipline. Isn't that the fun part? Did you study this week? Let me see your weekly schedule. Where are those study blocks? You're giving them knowledge, not just academics, but you're also, like the coach did for my friend's son, you're giving them a strategy. Here's how you manage your week. Yeah, I know we've got a big event and you've got a test due this week. That's going to happen all the time in ministry. You need to learn how to manage that. What else are you giving them? Anybody else want to throw something in there? That was pretty general. Do you buy that as a goal? The hard part, yeah.
Support.
Support, yeah, absolutely. And part of that support's encouragement. That's all right. You failed this test, what you do is you jump back in and you do better on the next one. It's going to happen. Somebody else? I know Becca's getting worried because we're a little over time, but it's such a shock. All right, next slide. These are the things it's going to take to finish strong. And I'm not going to read through them, but these are the things that we're giving them. Next slide. Our goal is to help you serve your students because your almost ultimate goal is to serve these students, right? To help them be the best they can be. Next slide. So a couple of things of how we're doing before we go into the breakout session. I'm going to try and do this quickly. I don't know if it's possible. What are the wins and roadblocks? And Jim asked this a little bit, but let me ask a negative question before we go in. What are you finding to be the biggest roadblocks. And I know over half of you are saying, I've never done this before, and I'm worried that I'm gonna mess it up. That's not a roadblock, that's just a learning curve, okay? Some of you have been doing it for a while. What's the biggest roadblock? What do you think's holding you back?
I think for our site, balancing, being part of the mega church and all of the demands on students and the ministry, like, it's an incredible opportunity for them, but balancing those demands with their academic demands and making sure both are being monitored and that students are performing where we need them to be, where teachers need them to be. That's always, it's constantly work.
Everybody hear that? Balancing the academics and the internship responsibilities.
Are you saying your students would rather be leading worship and doing stuff than reading their textbooks? Oh my goodness.
Somebody else, yeah.
I think finding that the boundaries and the minimum requirements for passing classes has shown that we have more to deal with, like learning challenge-wise.
Yeah.
And sometimes those learning challenges are emotional, our demographics very much, like broken kids, fatherlessness, crazy, which I think most of us would agree.
Yeah.
But finding that, like, it really has nothing to do with their study skills, it has nothing to do with their, ability to pull off a big event and do all these things, but it's really like they're so broken that we finally have been able to, like, take some time to go, boom, there it is. So we're kind of having to reverse our approach and how we even evaluate if they're ready for school. So we're kind of starting to turn that.
Somebody else. Did you all hear that, by the way? Well, I know. But now, Bev, did you put her up to this? She's watching her watch. Oh, I know. Okay, let's go. What are some wins this year and some roadblocks? Let's go to the next slide. So, self-management is what you're talking about. We're finding out that a lot of these students, the issues are self-management. They're not academics, and when they learn how to manage themselves, they find out they're actually very capable academically. Leadership training. I've tried to say this every time I met with somebody. Almost all of our students are training for some kind of ministry, even if it's not going to be full-time. But 80% of our students are taking the AA degree as opposed to the Associates of Ministry degree, even though they're intending to go into ministry because they want to leave their options open for the future, knowing that they might have a non-ministry degree and non-ministry career but be trained for ministry. Self-care. One of the things, and I'm sorry, the leadership training thing, Chris, I don't know if you know this story, but I taught class in one of for your site about a year ago, and the students were talking about, they just had their own little individual internship meeting, and there's like 6-year students, and they looked around at each other and they said, we could start a church.
Yeah.
We got everything we need. You'd be preaching, you'd be leading worship, and they meant it. Because they had been doing the internship, they understood what it took, they understood what they didn't have. So there is leadership training happening, and almost all those students are doing the AA. Self-care, academic success. I'm glad to report that when we ran these numbers, the dean was excited.
Yes.
That we have a 2.9 average GPA throughout our 201, actually it's 190 students, and I'll explain that in a second. Graduates. There are people graduating this year. That's kind of a goal too, right? Good. And growth. Next slide. Some of you are asking, we had 10 partners in 2014, 104 students. 2015 fall, we had 29 partners with 201 students. Right now, we have 45 partners, and we know of at least 5 more that are ready to go. We've got at least 4 people here who have not been approved but are coming. Some from great distance, right? Who are taking a look, and they made us give a number. We have no idea for budgeting purposes. We said 350. We think it's going to be way past 400. So that should encourage you that you're not the only ones that think this is an attractive program.
The factor that really speaks to me is that every site that started our first year grew in numbers. Second year grew in numbers, and that's what really speaks a lot. Actually stronger to me than even the total numbers is that whatever you're doing is doing right and you're increasing numbers. Some just 1 or 2, which is fine. It's proportional to what you're doing. So that's, along with what you're saying, that's really exciting milepost for me.
Next one. This is, Jim already went over this, but there's a couple of others that are already to go. Alaska, next slide. What are our challenges? Academics, tuition payments, enrollment, registration gridlock, i.e. the 20% of your students on the first day of classes that still aren't sure what classes they're taking and still waiting for, right? And then what I would call drift. And what I mean by drift is some of you did the enrollment process a year ago. It's coming up right now, and this isn't age, this is just, I don't even remember what we did. I don't even remember, I mean, you're busy, right? And it's hard to keep up on what do we do for this? What am I supposed to do? Because we're not here physically together, and it's easy just to kind of drift away from focus on what we're doing. So, next slide. Academics. We have 201 students. The average GPA is 2.75. I thought you said 2.9. That's because we have 11 students that have a 0.0. That means they withdraw and never took a class. So we take them out. 190 students. 2.9 GPA. 4 students in our program have a 4.0. 107, 3.0 or better. 39 are between 2.0 and 2.99. And then 44 students, remember that number, because some of you are going to learn something about the program that you need to know and might not realize, are 2.0 GPA or less. That means that they are not maintaining degree progress. You must have a 2.0 or better, even if you have all the credits, to get a degree. So that's a new number for everybody to worry about, is if they're getting their classes and they're passing them, but they don't have a 2.0, they're ultimately not going to be able to graduate until they come above that 2.0. Does that make sense? So that's it. Yes, Carl.
So for classes though, individually, a D is passing, but it won't give you a high enough GPA to pass eventually, to graduate eventually.
Yes, that's
Can't
right.
graduate with all Ds.
Right.
So ultimately, you're going to have to replace some classes, pay for them again, and redo them and do better.
Right.
I mean, that's the only way to get out of that hole eventually if you take it too deep.
Yeah.
Next slide. And I know I'm going quick. Okay, why did I say tuition payments? You have 18 to 20-year-olds who have never had a loan, who have no credit score, and their first thing on their credit is a student loan that went to collections. You're not helping them, right? Bad credit. Mary, I forgot to ask you this. What's the increased cost for someone in collections as opposed to if they pay it? Is there a percentage?
Yes.
Yes,
That's,
but it's more.
well,
You don't give them a discount.
basically, you want to take care of your financial obligations.
Okay. It
Only
costs
bad
you
ones.
more to pay it off if it goes to collections. And any Seinfeld fans? If your students do not pay their bills, no internship fee for you. Come back tomorrow. Right? I said that to Becca and she said,
What are you talking
what
about?
are you talking about? Everybody under like 35 is going, what is that? Student Nazi, that's what it is. All right, so you get that, that's an issue we have to deal with. Next one. The enrollment gridlock. I think that's, just go to the next slide. Okay, yeah, initiatives. Go to the next one. Enrollment process and deadlines. We're going to go over this in the second session. There is going to be a deadline for a complete enrollment package. By August 15th, we will not consider any more applications after August 15th unless they have a complete enrollment package. And we'll tell you, or application package, and we'll tell you exactly what that entails. It's in your book. Number 2, academic success plans. You're going to hear a lot about that. Every student's going to need one, not just probationary students. Number 3, webinar courses. I mentioned that, the live classes online where you can combine sites for your video. We have some breakout sessions on that. CPP hubs. Some of you have churches, this is what we're talking about, Dan, in North Snohomish with Foursquare churches. Lake Church is talking to other Foursquare churches about doing their own internship, but sharing facilities for academics and kind of having a Foursquare training center in North Snohomish County. Just want to keep that open to you. That's a very easy thing for us to do. We're going to do CPP evaluations September on the enrollment process, and then at the end of each semester. Part of it is we need to do it for assessment, but part of it is for us to say, okay, how are we doing? And then coordinator certifications. This one I'm going to take a second on, and we're going to be okay time-wise, regardless if Bev and Beck are very wary. So next one. Here's what we're going to ask your coordinators to do each year, and this has to do with that drift. Every new partner has to, we're going to ask you to go through a coordinator training. Becca's leading it as the breakout session twice, so you new coordinators go with Becca at least on one breakout session. For each one of these things, we're going to post, you're all enrolled in a discovery class now. It's called, and for those of you that are new, it's just an online platform that we run our classes out of. And you're going to have to take this class at certain times during the year. For each one of these, for instance, for internships, we'll just give you a little worksheet to figure out how you're going to do your internship that you can go through. There will be a workshop online if you need it, where Becca or I or Jim will meet with you online or in person and just kind of walk through the worksheet. How's your internship? Do you have any questions? There's going to be a review quiz. Just going to be a stupid little quiz, but just a way for you to, it's almost like an assignment, so we can keep track of who's doing it, so we can help the people that are having trouble doing it. And then you're going to submit something. In